So here we are at the conclusion and moving forward section. This is the part number 3 of the course, and this is where I will give you a summary of what we've talked about. And I want to begin by talking about the key giveaways here, and I want to focus on market structure and levels. When trading the break and retest, you should have a good understanding of market structure. And like I've said in the course, when starting out, I think it would be best for new traders using the system to focus on trending markets and horizontal levels. The reason for this is because when you're looking for trending markets and you're focused on horizontal levels, it's easier for you to get a good sense and a good feeling of how markets move. And at a later stage, when you do already have that fundamental understanding of market structure and how price reacts to horizontal level, that's when I would say you can start looking into other alternatives like trading the break and retest on a trend line, looking at ranging markets, or anything like that. But I want you to be very mindful of the fact that market structure is king. What we're doing here is we're basically trading price action. We're adding the horizontal levels and we're looking at market structure, but the number one priority here is to understand that you're trading price, you're trading price action, and you're trading the reaction of these breakout levels. So pay a lot of attention to market structure and make sure that your levels make sense. Now, it does take some time to understand market structure and horizontal levels. So spend a lot of time going through markets, back testing and testing. We're going to talk about this more in section 3 here, as you can see. But I want you to spend a lot of time marking out levels, because it's almost like muscle memory, right? You will not get the levels correct the first time around, but with time you will understand what creates a good level. So be patient, spend time, do a lot of chart work, and you'll see that you will get the hang of it. We also talked about the idea of identifying, confirming, and then executing. Okay, so the idea here is that you first want to identify market structure, you want to identify the horizontal levels, and you then want to identify a breakout, and then you wait patiently for that retest. It's going to be a clean breakout, a rounded retest, and you're going to go long on the first rounded retest. Of course, short would be the other way around. You get a break to the downside and then a rounded retest to go short. So that's the identifying part. And then it's up to you to wait for confirmation. Maybe you want to put in limit orders before the break, before the retest, and you anticipate that there's going to be a retest. But as you see, by using limit orders prior to the retest, your win rate will most likely be lower and your stop loss needs to be much wider. So what I recommend is you wait for the retest and you then wait for confirmation. So that's step number 2. You wait for confirmation. This type of confirmation could be either a bullish engulfing candle when going long, or a bullish pin bar where there's a big wick going into the level and closing above the level. And you can also look at a break and retest on, for example, the 4-hour. And when the 4-hour hits the breakout level, you go into the lower time frames like the 1 hour or the 15-minute, and you look for a bullish break of structure with that nice rounded bottom at that level. And when you have the identifying part done and you've confirmed that there is a reaction at the level, it's now time to execute. At the time of executing the trade, you should already have your plan laid out. So at the time of the breakout, when the breakout happens, that's when you want to make the plan. You want to make your plan for what do you want confirmation to look like, create the different scenarios in your head for what a good confirmation would look like, and then ask yourself, if this type of confirmation happens, where would I have the stop loss? And then finally, where would I have the TP? So when the time comes to execute, you know exactly where to place all the orders and where to place the stop loss and the TP and everything like that. You should plan everything in detail, so when you enter the trade, you know exactly what to do and there's no question about it. And then we have the idea of using a multi-time frame analysis approach. And I've just discussed this when talking about confirmation as well. But to really get very good results with this type of system, you want to make sure that you have a multi-time frame perspective. And that this means that I'm going to take from my own experience, I'm going to walk you through my process for this. So every weekend, let's say on Sunday, I go through the markets and I look at the daily first, and I mark out important levels on the higher time frame. Sometimes I look at the weekly as well, but I'm not going to be executing on the weekly or daily. I'm going to be executing on the way lower time frame. But I'm starting the idea and the planning and the market scanning on the weekly, but more focused on the daily. When I get good levels on the daily, I go into the 4 hour and I can adjust the levels based on the 4 hour. And this happens on the weekend, right? And I make lines on the chart. If there's a break and retest to the upside, I want to go long. If there's a break and retest to the downside, I want to go short. And I mark out my plans, right? And then Monday comes along and I put alerts on TradingView, and I see that a good daily level, you have a 4 hour candle going straight through that level, you get a breakout. I got my alerts and now I make my plans. All right, so if we have a retest of this level and it looks like this or that, I'm going to enter based on a bullish engulfing candle. I'm going to put my stop loss here. I'm going to TP here. So I'm now in the 4 hour. When the level hits, I zoom in on the 1 hour or even the 50-minute, and I look for that breakup structure on the lower time frames at the level of interest. Now, this level of interest could have been begun with a weekly or daily level, and then I confirm the breakout on the 4 hour, and I look for a confirmation of a bounce at the breakout level on the 1 hour or the 50-minute. This allows me to enter. If I wait for the daily candle to close before entering, that daily candle might just be in an area where the risk to reward of the trade is just completely gone. But if I focus on the lower time frames, I can enter earlier, I can have a tighter stop loss, and the risk to reward of the trade might be much higher. So having a multi-time frame analysis and having the mindset of being fluid in the way you're looking at the markets and what time frame you're using is very important. With that said, it's also important to be consistent. If you're doing your market analysis on the weekends based on the weekly and daily, you can't really, the week after, you can't just start doing it on the 4 hour, right? You got to be consistent. Your approach, even though you're using multiple time frames, it needs to be consistent. If you found a very good way of marking out levels on the daily and then entering based on the 1 hour, that's what you should be doing. You can't mark out levels on the 4 hour and then you have a good system for entering on the 1 hour 15-minute, and then all of a sudden you start looking for trades on the 1 minute because you want to get that extra tight stop loss. Everything needs to be tested, everything needs to be validated before you're going live, and you need to be consistent with your approach, even though you might not every time be consistent with the time frame you're using. So that's important. It's easy to get confused and to be all over the place when using a multi-time frame analysis. So make sure that you view it as like a staircase, right? You start with the weekly, then one step down the daily, one step down the 4 hour, one step down the 1 hour, and one step down the 15-minute. And if you have a good system with entering on the 50-minute, that's where you want to stop. And now to the expected results. Now, this system is not a high win rate system. It's also not a low win rate system. But the win rate of the system is going to be determined by your personal trading. Now, I would say that you should aim at a win rate of having around 50%. Now, this might mean that you have a win rate of 40% or 60%. But around 50% win rate means that you're doing something right with this system. There are, of course, going to be lots of different things in the way you're trading the system personally that will affect the win rate. Now, we're all different. We're all humans, right? We all make mistakes. We all do the mental errors that is so common in trading. So imagine that you went through the identify, confirm, and execute idea, and it's time to actually start confirming the trade. Some of you might choose to wait for a break of structure on the 5-minute or a break of structure on the 50-minute. Some of you might wait for a bullish engulfing candle on the 1 hour. Having small differences in how you approach the confirmation of the system will affect your win rate, but it will also affect your risk to reward. So for example, if you're waiting for a 50-minute bullish break of structure at the level for confirmation, that might mean that you have a 40% win rate, but the risk to reward of that trade might be 3. But then if you look at a bullish engulfing on the 1 hour, you're entering a little bit later and you might have a 50% win rate, but your risk to reward is 2.5 or 2. Both of these systems, both of these approaches will be profitable, but there's going to be a difference, of course, in the ratio between risk to reward and win rate. And this is for you to explore and understand what type of statistics you will have in your trading. Everyone's different. Everyone is going to have different results in their trading. And we will talk more about that in section number 3 here on how to continue and getting started with the backtesting and experimenting. So now that you know about the break and retest, how to identify, how to confirm, and how to execute the trade ideas, and you've seen trade examples and me breaking down everything, how should you continue? Well, every type of trading or with every type of trading system, testing is very important. Back testing and forward testing before going live, and then also experimenting, right? You might have many different ideas on how you might improve this on your own, and you should not be afraid of testing new things in your testing process. So what you should do first is you should do back testing. Now, when you first begin with your backtest session, it doesn't have to be anything super advanced. Just go into TradingView, go into replay function, go through the market, see if you can identify the break and retest. And then when you get a feeling for it, you can start doing a more advanced backtesting session by using software like, there's many different backtesting softwares out there. I know one that is popular is FX Replay, for example. You can also, take the statistics from FX Replay and then import it into a trading journal, so you get lots of different statistics through your backtesting. And you should backtest everything and then look at each trade example, see what you could have done better, what you could have done differently to get better results. And when you have something that you're comfortable with, or some results that you are happy with, I recommend that you go into forward testing using a demo account. And I would say back test for get somewhere between 50 and 100 trades in back testing to get some good data, some good statistics. And then in forward testing, you want to have, it depends on if you're trading this on lower time frames or the higher time frames. I mean, obviously, when you swing trading and forward testing, taking 100 trades is going to take a very long time. Let's say, for me, for example, I'll take, this month I've taken 20 trades. To get to 20 trades a month to get to 100, that's going to take me several months. So if you are swing trading and forward testing, probably forward test for about 2 months. If you're scalping and trading lower time frames, you might get up to 100 trades fairly quickly. If you can get 50 to 100 trades, if you're trading lower time frames, and make sure that you have enough data to back up the system. The idea here is to have similar results and in forward testing. And then when you start trading this system live, that's when you might start getting some ideas on adding indicators. Like for me, for example, what I do is I have the break and retest, and then I add Fibonacci levels, and I only take the trade if there's a break and retest on a horizontal level that also includes a specific Fibonacci level. Maybe you decide to add a exponential moving average and only buy the bounce if it happens on the 20 EMA or the 50 EMA or the 200 EMA or whatever. All of these ideas, you need to go back to back testing before you implement this live. So if you have a very good idea on live, live trading, go back to back testing, forward test it, and only implement it into your live trading if you feel like the results are actually improving the system. Because sometimes a lot of people take a very simple system like the break and retest, you know, based on market structure and horizontal levels. They take this very simple system and they make it advanced, and they make it advanced without even testing the implications of this, which in a lot of times simple is the best. You know, so I always say simplicity is the key to long-term success in trading. So sometimes you add a lot of different things and you think you're making the system better, but looking at the statistics, it's actually making it worse. So this system is profitable as it is with a very, very simple approach. So keep that in mind going forward. Alright guys, that's it. That's the end of this course. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey. You know, I think the break and retest system is such a simple and powerful approach. I really do hope that I've motivated you and inspired you guys to try this out. I wish you all the luck going forward, and I hope to see many of you being successful with this system. Good luck, take care, and I hope to see you all in the next course.